Before the dawn of Islam in the 7th century, the vast Arabian Peninsula was not a unified state. It was, more like a patchwork of tribes, kingdoms, and trade routes. These routes were really the arteries of commerce, connecting the great empires of the time, from the Romans and Byzantines in the west to the Sasanian Persians in the east. Because there was no central authority to mint a local currency, the people of Arabia relied on the coins of these powerful neighbors. Silver coins, in particular, were highly valued for their intrinsic worth and reliability. They were a trusted medium of exchange for everything from spices and incense to camels and textiles, forming the backbone of the region's bustling economic life. The most common silver coins circulating in pre-Islamic Arabia were Media Group, macro shots of Roman denarius coin, Byzantine drachma coin placed side by side on an ancient clothes stock to distribute it equally, the Roman denarius, the Byzantine drachma, and especially the Sasanian drachma. The Sasanian coins, with their distinctive portraits of powerful kings, were particularly widespread. Merchants traveling the ancient caravan routes, like the famous incense route, carried these coins with them. Local people in cities like Mecca and Yathrib, which would later become Medina, would have been very familiar with the look and feel of these foreign silver pieces. They didn't just represent money, they were symbols of the powerful empires that loomed large on Arabia's borders, influencing its culture, politics, and daily commerce in countless ways. This reliance on foreign currency meant that the economic stability of Arabia was tied to the fortunes of distant empires. If the silver content of a Roman or Sasanian coin was reduced, its value would drop, and this would have a direct impact on the merchants and people of the peninsula. There was no local control over the money supply. Despite this, the system worked. People trusted the silver because silver itself was a valuable commodity. A coin's weight and purity were more important than the face of the emperor stamped upon it. This practical approach to money set the stage for the fascinating developments that would follow with the rise of a new faith. The circulation of these coins also brought with it a flow of ideas and artistic styles. The imagery on Roman and Sasanian coins, portraits of rulers, pagan gods, and Zoroastrian symbols like the fire altar, was part of the visual landscape of pre-Islamic Arabia. These coins were more than just economic tools. They were tiny pieces of propaganda and art from powerful civilizations. They served as a constant reminder of the world beyond the desert, a world of organized states and imperial power. It was into this environment, where foreign silver was king, that Islam emerged and began to forge its own unique identity, which would eventually extend to its currency. When the Prophet Muhammad and his followers established the first Islamic state in Medina, they didn't immediately create a new currency. The priority was building a community and a system of governance. For economic matters, they simply continued to use the coins that were already in circulation. The Sasanian silver drachm and the Byzantine gold solidus were the accepted forms of payment. These coins were familiar, trusted, and honestly, just readily available. The early Islamic community was practical. They adopted and adapted what worked. The value of these coins was based on their weight in precious metal, a system that was straightforward and universally understood by traders across the region. As the Islamic Caliphate expanded rapidly under the first 4 caliphs, known as the Rashidun, a subtle but significant change began to occur. The new Islamic administration needed to assert its own identity and authority. Instead of melting down the old Sasanian coins, they began to modify them. They started by adding short, pious Arabic inscriptions in the margins of the existing coins. Phrases like Bismillah, which means, in the name of God, were stamped onto the silver pieces, right next to the portrait of the Sasanian king. This was a clever move. It kept the familiar and trusted design of the coin but overlaid it with a clear Islamic message. These modified coins are known to historians and collectors as Arab Sasanian coinage. They represent a fascinating transitional period. They show an empire finding its feet and asserting its presence without causing major economic disruption. By keeping the Sasanian imagery, they ensured the coins would continue to be accepted in international trade, particularly with the East. But by adding the Arabic script, they were making a powerful statement of faith and sovereignty. It was a declaration that these lands were now under the rule of a new power, one guided by the principles of Islam. It was the first step towards a truly unique Islamic currency. This practice of counterstamping continued for several decades. Sometimes the face of the Sasanian ruler was even modified, with symbols like the Zoroastrian fire altar being replaced or altered. These coins were minted in former Sasanian cities that were now under Muslim control. The process was not uniform. Different governors in different provinces made their own modifications. This resulted in a wide variety of Arab Sasanian coins, each telling a small story about the gradual Islamization of the administration and economy. This period of adaptation was a crucial bridge, linking the old world of foreign coinage to the revolutionary changes that were just around the corner. The big moment in Islamic monetary history arrived during the reign of the Umayyad Caliph, Abd al-Malik ibn Marwan, who ruled from 685 to 705 AD. He was a powerful and visionary leader who understood the need to unify his vast empire. He recognized that a shared unique currency was a vital tool for creating a common identity and asserting independence from the old Byzantine and Sasanian influences. Around the year 698 AD, Abd al-Malik ordered a complete overhaul of the coinage. He did away with all pictorial imagery, the portraits of kings and religious symbols that had defined coins for centuries. This was a radical and revolutionary act. In place of images, the new Islamic silver coin, known as the dirham, was covered entirely in Arabic script. The inscriptions were purely religious, taken directly from the Quran. On one side, the coin typically declared the core tenet of Islam. There is no God but God. He is one. He has no associate. This was a powerful theological statement, directly challenging the Christian Trinity depicted on Byzantine coins. The other side of the coin often featured a verse from the Quran, such as the chapter on pure faith, Surah Al-Ikhlas. The mint location and the year of minting according to the Islamic calendar were also included, making these coins valuable historical documents. The design of the new dirham was stark, elegant, and profoundly Islamic. It established a new tradition in coinage that would last for centuries. By removing all human and animal figures, the coins adhered to a strict interpretation of Islamic teachings that discouraged the creation of images. The focus was entirely on the Word of God. This reform was not just about money, it was a cultural and political statement. It declared to the world that the Islamic Caliphate was a major power with its own distinct civilization, faith, and system of law. The new dirhams, and their gold counterparts, the dinars, quickly became the standard currency across the empire. The standardization was key. Abd al-Malik ensured that the new silver dirhams had a consistent weight, around 2.97 grams, and high purity. This reliability made them one of the most successful currencies in history. They were accepted from Spain to India and became a dominant force in international trade for hundreds of years. The reform was a masterstroke of political and economic statecraft. It created a powerful symbol of Islamic unity, streamlined the economy, and left behind the legacy of the old empires. The purely epigraphic coin was a bold innovation that would define Islamic numismatics for the rest of its history. Following the Umayyad reforms, the silver dirham became the cornerstone of the economy for the successive Islamic dynasties that ruled the Middle East. When the Abbasid Caliphate overthrew the Umayyads in 750 AD, they continued the tradition of minting purely epigraphic silver coins. However, they made their own subtle changes to the design. The Abbasids, ruling from their magnificent new capital of Baghdad, often added the names of caliphs, governors, or even the heir apparent to the coins. This turned the dirhams not only into a medium of exchange, but also a tool for communicating political loyalty and the line of succession across their vast empire. As the central power of the Abbasid Caliphate began to weaken in the 10th and 11th centuries, semi-independent dynasties emerged in various regions. In Egypt and North Africa, the Fatimids rose to power. While they also minted silver dirhams, their coins were distinct. Being from the Shia branch of Islam, the Fatimids inscribed their coins with their own religious formulas and the names of their caliphs and imams. The Ayyubids, led by the famous Salah al-Din, Saladin, who succeeded the Fatimids, returned to Sunni orthodoxy and changed the inscriptions on their coins accordingly. Throughout these shifts in power, silver coinage remained a constant, though its inscriptions changed to reflect the religious and political affiliations of the ruling dynasty. During these centuries, what is now Saudi Arabia, particularly the holy cities of Mecca and Medina in the Hijaz region, did not have its own mints. The region's economy continued to be driven by pilgrimage and trade. and it used the coins that were dominant in the wider Islamic world. Silver dirhams minted in Baghdad, Cairo, or Damascus would have been the common currency used by pilgrims and merchants in the markets of Mecca. The constant flow of people from all corners of the Islamic world ensured a steady supply of these coins. The value was in the silver, so a dirham from one dynasty was easily exchanged for that of another, based on its weight and purity. This long period, from the Abbasids to the Mamluks who ruled Egypt and Syria until 1517, cemented the role of the silver dirham as the primary coin for daily transactions. Gold dinars were used for large payments and international trade, but the silver dirham was the coin of the people. Its design, based on calligraphy rather than images, had become the standard for Islamic currency. The circulation of these various dynastic coins in the Arabian Peninsula tells a story of a region that was deeply integrated into the economic and religious life of the great Islamic empires that surrounded it, even without being a center of political power itself. In 1517, the Ottoman Empire conquered the Mamluk Sultanate, bringing Egypt, Syria, and the Hijaz region of Arabia under its control. For the Ottomans, control of the holy cities of Mecca and Medina was a source of immense prestige, solidifying the Sultan's claim as the leader of the Islamic world. For the next 4 centuries, the Arabian Peninsula was largely under Ottoman influence, and this was reflected in its currency. The primary coins in circulation were those of the Ottoman Empire, such as the silver akçe and later the para and kurus. These coins were minted in the great imperial centers of Istanbul, Cairo, and Damascus. For most of this period, the Hijaz continued its long history of using currency minted elsewhere. However, a significant development occurred in the 18th and 19th centuries. The Ottomans, seeking to further solidify their control and facilitate the economy of the annual Hajj pilgrimage, established a mint in the Hijaz itself. This was honestly a historic first. For the first time, coins were being locally produced in the region that would become Saudi Arabia. These coins were minted in Jeddah, the port city for Mecca, and were specifically intended for use in the Hijaz. They were a clear symbol of Ottoman sovereignty over the holy places. These Hijazi minted Ottoman coins followed the typical Ottoman style. They featured the tugra, an elaborate calligraphic monogram serving as the signature of the Sultan, on one side. The other side stated the mint location, Duribe Fichide, meaning struck in Jeddah, and the year of the Sultan's accession to the throne. While they were Ottoman in design and authority, their local production was a matter of great practical and symbolic importance. It meant that a fresh supply of currency could be provided directly to the region, which was especially crucial during the pilgrimage season, when the population swelled with visitors from across the globe. The existence of a mint in Jeddah, however brief or intermittent its operations may have been, marked a turning point. It broke the region's millennia-long dependence on exclusively foreign-minted currency. Although they were Ottoman coins, they were made in Arabia, for Arabia. This set a precedent for local minting that, while not immediately followed by the first Saudi states, laid the groundwork for the future. The Ottoman silver coins, and especially those struck in Jeddah, represent the final chapter of foreign rule over the Hijaz before the dramatic events of the 20th century would once again transform the political and monetary landscape of Arabia. During the 18th and 19th centuries, while the Ottomans held nominal control over the Hijaz, a new power was rising in the central Arabian region of Najd. This was the House of Saud, who, in alliance with the religious reformer Muhammad ibn Abd al-Wahhab, established the first Saudi state from 1744 to 1818, and later the second Saudi state from 1824 to 1891. These states were really focused on unifying the tribes of Central and Eastern Arabia under their rule. Now, despite their growing political and military power, they did not actually establish their own mints or issue their own currency. Their administrative focus was mainly on governance and military campaigns, not on monetary reform. The economy in the lands controlled by the early Saudi states continued to rely on the foreign coins that were already in circulation. There was no single dominant currency. Instead, a mix of Ottoman, Persian, and Indian coins was used, depending on the region and its primary trade connections. However, one coin began to gain extraordinary popularity across the entire Arabian Peninsula and beyond: the Maria Theresa thaler. This large silver coin was first minted in Austria in 1741, bearing the portrait of Empress Maria Theresa. Its consistent high silver content and beautiful design made it immensely trusted by merchants. The Maria Theresa Thaler's success was, honestly, pretty remarkable. Even after the Empress died in 1780, mints in Austria, and later in other European cities continued to strike the coin, with that date frozen in time. It became a trade currency, valued not for who issued it, but for its reliable weight and 83.3% silver purity. In Arabia, it was the de facto currency for large transactions, used for everything from buying camels to paying dowries. People called it the Abu Tayr, meaning father of the bird, referring to the double-headed eagle on its reverse, or simply the rial. This name, rial, would stick, eventually becoming the name of the official Saudi currency. The dominance of the Maria Theresa Thaler really highlights the economic reality of Arabia before the 20th century. In the absence of a strong, local, and trusted currency, people turned to a foreign coin that guaranteed value through its precious metal content. The first and second Saudi states operated within this economic environment. Their treasuries would have been filled with these silver thalers, alongside other foreign coins. The popularity of this one coin, used from the coasts of Africa to the markets of the Middle East, demonstrates how trust and consistency in currency were paramount, paving the way for the monetary challenges and opportunities that Abdulaziz ibn Saud would face in the next century. The early 20th century was a time of monumental change for Arabia. Abdulaziz ibn Saud, the founder of the modern kingdom, began his legendary campaign to unify the peninsula. By 1925, he had conquered the Hijaz region, ousting the Hashemite rulers and bringing the holy cities of Mecca and Medina under his control. He was now the ruler of the vast majority of what would become Saudi Arabia. One of his immediate challenges was to create a modern, unified state, and a key part of that was establishing a national currency. The confusing mix of Ottoman coins, Indian rupees, British sovereigns, and the ever-present Maria Theresa Thaler was inefficient and a symbol of a fragmented past. As a first step, in 1925, Abdulaziz authorized the minting of new copper and nickel coins for small transactions. For silver, however, he initially continued to rely on what was available and trusted. But his ambition was to create a truly Saudi coin. In 1927, a momentous event occurred. The first official silver coin of the new state was struck. It was a silver rial directly modeled on the size and weight of the British silver rupee, which was widely used in the Gulf region. This new coin proudly bore the name of Abdulaziz, King of the Hijaz and Sultan of Najd, a title reflecting the dual nature of his kingdom at the time. This first silver rial was a statement of sovereignty. It was minted in Mecca, using the equipment left behind at the Ottoman-era mint. The design was simple and followed Islamic tradition, featuring inscriptions within circles and ornate borders. One side carried the king's title and the mint location, while the other had the denomination 1 rial and the Islamic year 1346. The minting of this coin was a powerful symbol that a new power had arrived, one that was now taking control of its own economic destiny. It was a crucial step in moving away from reliance on foreign currencies like the Maria Theresa Thaler. A few years later, after Abdulaziz had consolidated his rule and established the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in 1932, the coinage was updated to reflect this new reality. The coins minted from 1932 onwards bore his new, unified title, King of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This change was more than just symbolic. It represented the final political unification of the country. The currency now reflected the name of the nation. These early silver rials, from 1927, and the updated versions after 1932, were the foundational coins of the new kingdom, bridging the gap between the old world of foreign trade coins and a new era of national identity. In 1935, a new and iconic Saudi silver coin was introduced, one that would become the standard for the next 15 years. This was the silver rial that is perhaps most associated with the reign of King Abdulaziz. It was slightly smaller and lighter than the previous issues, but it was minted in vast quantities and became the backbone of the Saudi economy. The coin was struck from silver of high purity, 91.7%, giving it a tangible and trusted value. This was crucial in a society that was still accustomed to valuing coins based on their precious metal content rather than just the decree of the state. The design of this 1935 silver rial was elegant and distinctive, and it established a visual identity for the kingdom's currency. One side featured the name of the country, Al-Mamlaka Al-Arabiya As-Saudiya, meaning the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, inscribed in a circle. In the center, the denomination 1 Arab Rial was written, surrounded by 2 crossed swords topped with a palm tree. This emblem, the crossed swords and palm tree, was the new national coat of arms, symbolizing justice and prosperity. It was a powerful and modern symbol for the young nation, and its placement on the main coin really reinforced this new identity in every transaction. The reverse side of the coin was equally clear and informative. It proudly displayed the name of the founder, Abdulaziz Al Saud, and the denomination again, ensuring clarity. The Islamic year of minting was also prominently featured. These coins were initially minted at the Mecca Mint, but as the demand grew, production was outsourced to mints in other countries, including the Philadelphia Mint in the United States. This was a practical decision to ensure a sufficient supply of currency for the kingdom's growing economy, which was soon to be transformed by the discovery of oil. These silver reals, minted from 1935 until around 1950, were the coins that saw Saudi Arabia through a period of incredible transformation. They were in the hands of the people as the first oil revenues began to flow, funding the construction of roads, schools, and hospitals. They really represent a golden age of silver coinage in the kingdom. For many Saudis, this specific rial was the first truly national money they had ever used. It was a constant, tangible reminder of the unity, stability, and growing prosperity that King Abdulaziz had brought to the land, a silver symbol of a nation being born. The middle of the 20th century marked the end of an era for silver coinage, not just in Saudi Arabia, but honestly, around the world. The post-World War II global economic system, established at Bretton Woods, was moving away from currencies backed directly by precious metals. The value of silver on the international market began to rise, making it more expensive to produce coins from it. A point was reached where the metallic value of a silver rial was worth more than its face value of 1 rial. This created a major problem. People would hoard the coins or melt them down for their silver content, causing them to disappear from circulation. The Saudi Arabian Monetary Agency, or SAMA, founded in 1952 to act as the kingdom's central bank, had to address this issue. The government made the decision to move away from silver for its circulating currency. The last silver rials for general circulation were minted in the 1950s. They were gradually replaced by coins made from less expensive base metals like copper, nickel, and bronze. In 1960, the first official Saudi paper currency, the Pilgrim Receipts, were replaced by official rial banknotes. This was a huge shift. For the first time, the everyday money of Saudi Arabia was based on the authority of the state, not on the intrinsic value of precious metal. This transition was a sign of Saudi Arabia's maturing economy. The nation was now a major player on the world stage, thanks to its vast oil reserves. Its currency no longer needed the backing of silver to be trusted. It was backed by the full faith and credit of a powerful and wealthy state. The coins that followed were purely functional. Denominations like the halala, which is 1/100th of a rial, were introduced, made from metals like nickel brass and copper nickel. The designs continued to feature the national emblem of the crossed swords and palm tree, the king's name, and the denomination, maintaining a sense of continuity with the past. Today, the coins circulating in Saudi Arabia are part of a modern, monetary system. The latest series of coins introduced in 2016 during the reign of King Salman includes a bimetallic 1 rial and 2 rial coin, reflecting contemporary minting technology. While silver is no longer used for everyday money, it has not been forgotten. SAMA occasionally issues commemorative silver coins to mark special occasions, celebrating the kingdom's history and achievements. These beautiful pieces serve as a tribute to the long and fascinating history of silver in Arabia, a history that stretches from the ancient Sasanian drachms to the iconic rials of King Abdulaziz, tracing the journey of a nation.